Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. So I'm really excited. This is the very first time that I have been able to welcome two special guests to the Brand Lover podcast. Ria and Kate from Cardi and Co. Cardi and Co is a luxury handmade knitwear brand based in Sydney, Australia, whose key focus is to rekindle the love for thoughtfully designed knitwear designs that consider all bodies. And I love that. Cardi and Co is created by Kate and Ria, full-time corporate workers and friends. They stand by their ethical and sustainable fashion business values, and every effort is made to reduce waste along the supply chain. I am so excited to dive into you girls initially, and then your business and your journey and just everything. So welcome, Kate and Ria. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
Well deserved. Okay, so the first question I love to ask, and it's something that I ask all my Brand Lover guests: who are you? Who is Kate and Ria? How did you meet? Sort of, how did this love for knitting blossom and begin? I'm going to say Ria.
So Kate and I actually were co-workers at a financial services firm, and I mean, we didn't really know each other for a long time before we started the business, but I think it was more that Kate and I were always talking about the same thing, so makeup, fashion, and other fun things. And obviously, but then we had our job to kind of sometimes have a rant about.
Yes.
And we grew really close, and we knew that we wanted to do something outside of our jobs, so that just a bit of a break, because corporate can get a bit taxing at times. So we started talking about ideas, but I remember it very clearly. We didn't want to get into a business where we just put a little bit of money and get a quick buck.
Yeah.
Because we were no, we could have, started a fast fashion or just find something on, again, I'm not saying people who do that, it's wrong. I just said with us, we just really wanted to be to do it with a purpose and not do it just a quick rich scheme and be oh, we just want to leave our jobs. So
I absolutely agree with that. And I think when we started really talking about it out loud, I think we straight away went, what problems do me as an individual have? What problem do you as an individual have? And for me, mine was ill-fitting clothes. So, and generally outerwear. So jackets, cardigans, anything that goes on top of other layers. I didn't have those options. I couldn't go to shops to find those things. So that's kind of where then it made a spark, and our minds just kind of went berserk, thinking of all the different ways that we could try to remedy that issue that I was facing.
Yeah, and I love that. It started with identifying a need, and a need that you had. I think that really does drive the purpose, doesn't it? Sort of.
Absolutely.
It creates that heart-centered approach. So I would love to sort of know how the business was born. That sort of gives us a clue as to the motivators and how you met, which is lovely. But how did it actually, how was it birthed?
It was through our lunchtime conversations, for sure. So once we kind of identified a problem that we faced, and Ria was just cool to jump in, you were just excited to do something different, and you had sold at markets before, so you knew what that felt like. You also have a connection to another part of the world, as do I with New Zealand. So then it was kind of like, okay, well, how do we do this? Because I was thinking, okay, I can't find a denim jacket, I can't find a leather jacket, I can't find these things. But then those things didn't resonate with us to try to make or design until we started thinking about recycled, repurposed fabrics, repurposed older garments that could be reused. And then knitting, knitwear, wow. And then I'm like, I can knit. And and it was like, oh, mum can knit.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like sparked. And then Ria's like, yeah, my mum can knit, although she does love booties. She loves a booty.
Who doesn't love a good booty?
Right? Which we haven't delved into yet. Perhaps, maybe. There's always the vision board. And I think, that's kind of then where it went. And we were just going, yep, tick, tick, tick. These are starting to align to who we are as people, and the changes that we were trying to make in our own homes to do with recycling, repurposing things, and that's why then it all just started to click for us. And the deep dive into the knitting world began.
And I think it was also the nostalgia, the nostalgic element of like knitting. Like I remember my mum knitting and my grandmother, and and like how Kate was talking about her mum, and she was like, oh yeah, like my mum, taught me to knit, and but I can definitely like get better. And then straight away, like Kate is saying, tick boxes. Like we were not going to use any like unnatural fiber. It was like a wholesome sort of like a business that we could start with a purpose.
Yeah, and I love that. I like it. Sounds like you sort of thought about all of these things that were going to come together that were in perfect alignment with with the end point that you really were looking for, which is that sustainable fashion that was customizable. And I just always assumed that you two were just obsessed with knitting. That's not the case. It was something that was just something that was
now Kate is, yes.
Yeah, now you are. Okay. I can see that on from your socials, which we'll talk about later. But so I love that you sort of just, it was the vehicle to create, rather than like, we just love knitting, let's create a knitting based business. It's so beautiful to understand that on a deeper level. So being corporate workers, what, obviously there's time constraints because you're in a 9-to-5. Kate, I know that you're a mum. What were you thinking? Did you realize what you were getting yourselves into?
No.
When you started, did you realize?
I like how Kate pauses.
Not really. Not really. You don't I think so because of our corporate backgrounds, we do have epic strengths in areas that can help a small business. Like Ria, not only has she done the entire website DIY, that is not part of her repertoire, although now it is definitely on the CV. She has the financial understanding and is willing to learn more about trade and the different legal things that are involved with having a small business. That stuff is over my head. That stuff's a bit too much for me. So that's why our pairing was really important, because we needed each other's strengths to be able to define who we are as a partnership business, and not kind of cutting a corner. Or there were definitely things that were surprises that I got very disappointed about, which was like our name became similar to another name over in America, and that whole thing that happened, Rhea took care of all of it because she could see that I just couldn't quite cope with what needed to happen. And she was able to take the reins on that. And then there's been vice versa, where there's the knitting environment and the fiber, sourcing the fiber, that stuff, that I love that. And I've just been diving into that and using all of my project management skills and the way that I communicate to try and get the best result for us. So yeah.
Yeah, and very meticulous. Like literally, Kate and I are similar, but also different, but in such a good way. Like I am nowhere near like the creative sort of like looking into products and like knits and like kind of wool and all that. But I get so much information from Kate, and she explains it really well. So it's like the perfect, like honestly, sometimes I think like, how did we end up here? Like it was like meant to be, because it doesn't get, again, knock on wood, doesn't get more perfect. Like you can't find a more perfect business partner or a business pairing. Honestly, like, and I'm not saying it because the podcast, I honestly
That's so beautiful, because I was going to say you do actually just sound like a couple in this honeymoon period. So I guess I'm wondering if there's ever, how do you deal with not necessarily disagreements? It doesn't sound like you ever
there
argue.
has been. No, there has been.
I'm interested to find out how you deal with that. If one person has an idea and the other doesn't think it's going to work, or if one person wants to explore something and the other's, against it, how does that work, Ria?
Yeah, so I think both of us are really good listeners, like, and because both of us are very logical approach. So there have been times where there have been disagreements, but we always go back to why we started this. And we started this because we wanted to make a beautiful business out of it, and both of us have the best interest of our business at heart. And so I think we both are like, we will make our point and then we will pause and let the other person make their point and literally then come together with logic. Right. Okay. Like, that's how I can explain it.
Yeah. And I'd agree that, exactly, doing brand alchemy, right? Brand alchemy, I was in it and I loved it. And I'm getting all this, I'm G'd up and everything. And I'm trying to convey that back to Ria. And she wasn't quite there with me because she needed to do those assessments and different things herself so that we were both on the same thing. And say we're creating a post and we're trying to use the things that we've learned, adding a CTA, a call to action, putting it in this layering and stuff. Captions are probably the thing that we would go backwards and backwards. No, we have to say it like this, because otherwise what if the reader doesn't get past the first few sentences and they're not going to read that bottom part? And we'd be back and forth. And in the end, we'd have something that's so great. And we're like, we need to reuse this format again.
And solving the world's problems, one social media caption at a time.
The little things were the things that we would have some real pull and tug on. Just because, what we were trying to convey was slightly different. But then we always came back on the same page, or we would say, okay, let's park that and we'll come back in a week.
Yeah.
And then we have fresh eyes or something's different, because I think you'd know, like, life with small business really impacts, and the different things that can happen throughout just your normal everyday to day, not even excluding your day job, your day job, but your normal everyday to day, you can just not feel like it.
Absolutely.
You can just literally not feel like it. And I feel privileged and lucky and fortunate that I have someone right there that can pick up when I can't.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yes, and a lot of small business owners don't have that. They don't. And
I don't know how they do it. Honestly,
it's so beautiful. And even to just the way that you're speaking, it really sounds like you respect each other's opinions. And I think that's very wise, to take the emotional side out of it, or recognize if you've got other things on, and be respectful of those life boundaries of each other, and allow the business to be separate. It's amazing.
I mean, we've done that.
Amazing that you've come so far together and been able to, come into a more mature phase of your business together. Amazing.
Yeah. The learnings that we've had, my God. Started writing like a writer's thesis on it.
Yes, well, this is what I would really love to know, because you're a few years in now, and I was interested to find out what your biggest hurdle or struggle has been, aside from social media posts. what's been something that you've experienced that you didn't see coming, that you've had to really work together to overcome to come out the other side?
Yeah. Okay. So our relationship with I knit, my mum knits, and we do the accessories, generally the beanies, the scarves, and we are now doing a few jumpers. But our cardigans, we wanted to work with a B Corp company who's Australian owned, but has, trained women in southern India how to knit. So we wanted to work with them so that we could get a bigger volume of cardigans made. That meant that we needed to get wool sent there from other places. Then, our patterns, we had to do samples, that whole thing, but overseas. And then COVID, freight costs nearly crushed us. We were not expecting any of that. Customs costs from India, we were not expecting any of those. Costs have been like nearly broke the camel's back style stuff. And these, like, we knew it was going to be tough, but not quite like that. And I mean, we've only just received, so we designed and had all the yarns sent in 2019. We have just received our third cardigan now.
Oh, wow.
So those are patience. I think we are the most patient people when it comes to when it comes to this, and just look, we had, even though it was a really long process, we still had to learn hard and fast, because 1 minute we thought this was happening and the next minute you get slapped with some invoice, or there's a delay, or what was one of them? The mohair. So we got this gorgeous mohair from Italy, and it finally got spun, and we had to reach the minimum order quantities. It was like $5,500 of mohair that got stuck in a container at India Customs because it had a cat in the container when COVID was on.
Oh my gosh. You couldn't even make that
We
up.
never ever received that yarn, ever. We had to get more from South Africa.
Yeah, and like letting go of the fact that, wow, okay, what are we going to do now? And letting go of the fact that, that spun yarn is not going to, we are never going to see it. And then as a small business, and it's just,
that's one of the things.
That's one,
That's the type of thing that could cripple a small business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we both are very thankful that we have good corporate jobs, because honestly, if we would have left our jobs and started doing this, there is no way. Because at times you do start to, because at the end of the day, we are humans, right? We'll start to think and question, did we do the right thing? Is that why people, again, I'm just general comment, is that why some business owners may consider cutting corners? And then, are we being too ethical? What's honestly? And then we had to just keep reminding ourselves of the reason why we started it. And I think that's what gave us strength, and the fact that we both can speak our heart out with each other, no judgments.
Yeah. Oh, I just got goosebumps.
I got them when I was remembering.
Carry through, coming back to your why so religiously is so important, isn't it? I think especially because you're such, you're so I guess dedicated to walk in alignment with those ethical values. I can imagine that it's very tempting to cut those corners, especially after having experiences like having a cat in a shipping container.
What are the odds?
Who could have
what
thought?
are the actual odds?
So then you
thought
start.
People were kidding. I thought it was a joke. Then no, it was not a joke.
I don't even know what to say about that. That's just
We still don't know.
Amazing.
We still don't know where that yarn is.
Amazing.
Never been found. The cat ate it all.
Nice and warm, cozy.
Probably.
Oh,
I'm so grateful that you can laugh about this now. And that you're not
we do finally have they're just behind me actually. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
This is our space there with all our yarn and everything. Just that little space there. And then we actually have a stock take this Saturday, so that'll reignite us as well, because at the moment we decided to, part of that small business, just recognizing the world that we're in, and that, you know, predominantly till now we are winter focused and have been. So we decided to put a pause on our website over summer.
Mm-hmm.
That also mentally has just been a godsend for us, because we fit that social media part has kind of just dropped right down, and we've been able to, you know, I'm designing for next summer, because now we really see the gap that we have, which is no summer range.
Yes.
And we live in Australia.
Yes.
And summer item would be lovely. So, you know, we're looking, that's given me the space to help design and try out new yarns, and it's allowing us to just have a bit of a break and ramp up for next year, because we've got a lot of stock and we need to do these markets. Like, we need to get out there, and so people learn us, remember us, and that'll be our focus for next year.
Yeah, that's so wise. And sometimes you do need to slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
And keep going. Like, if we keep going, trying to do all the things, tick off the social media and keep doing what we've always done, we're never going to get anywhere. If it's not working, there's something.
And it doesn't feel authentic.
Exactly. Authentic is the word. Absolutely. It comes across as forced, as if we're trying to be someone else, as we're trying to just portray that, oh, everything's hunky and dory, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, but look at us, we are great. Acknowledgement of the situation, and being authentic has definitely been one of our, like, you know, USPs for sure.
Yeah, and I think that comes across beautifully. Okay, so what keeps you motivated to keep going? And I know you come back to your why, but that's sort of, I mean, that's part of it. But when you do have these epic setbacks, what is the thing that keeps you keeping on?
Our products are great.
Yeah,
our products are awesome. And the feedback that we get when someone says, you know, I was able to effortlessly put my arms in through this cardigan. There was no hoiking up the arm. There was no, like, I just felt free. This cardigan was designed for my body.
Yeah.
And that's what gives me goosebumps right here, because that's something that a lot of people don't know what that feels like. And so, yeah, we know that the fiber's awesome, the products and the design are awesome. We just need more people to see them.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me going, for sure.
Yeah, and that too. And I think what also keeps me going, apart from that, is like, I reflect where we started from and the kind of loopholes and all the hurdles that we are still surviving, and we didn't come this far to just quit. Like, literally, I say that to myself.
I got goosebumps then.
Honestly, because I'm like, because I remember our earlier conversations on phone, like we were on WhatsApp. It's like the 10th of June 2019, and we've like just literally registered our business. We're excited. I go back and you're like, nah, this is, we didn't do all this to just be like, too hard.
Yeah. Overcomers. I love that. Okay, so what's next? What's next for Cardi and Co? What can we expect? I know that you were chatting about markets and summer range. Can you spill a little bit more detail?
Yes, we also have a new beanie style, because last year we pretty much sold out of our pom-pom beanies and we ran out of yarn.
Amazing.
But we've since had an amazing young knitter in Adelaide helping us out.
Just happens to be a relative of mine.
And she's just the best.
Good.
it's so good. You know, she texted me the other day and she's like, hey, what's happening with those scarves that you'd like me to knit? I was like, oh, I haven't written the pattern yet. I'll get to it, you know. She's like, I'm ready to go. And
she is very organized.
I think she liked my approach because I'm super organized as well. So I was able to just tell her, and then we've now got a nice little rhythm. Awesome. So I'm so thankful for Jane's assistance, because it meant I don't need to be knitting them and I can be knitting other stuff and trying to design a t-shirt. We've been working a t-shirt for next summer.
Exciting.
And I'll tell you about, well, I'm pretty sure that we're aligned on the fabric, which is a bamboo organic viscose blend. So it has a beautiful drape, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that's enough teasing. That's very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, so last question, and then we'll get into advertising. What would you say to a budding sustainable business owner? What's the best piece of advice you could give somebody who was wanting to start, you know, something in the slow fashion realm? Ria?
Again, sorry, I'm going to repeat myself.
It's fine.
Definitely know your why.
Yeah.
And be ready for acknowledging the situations as they come. Like, you know, so know exactly why you're doing it, because sometimes in the business world, I think people overcomplicate things, and it is a complicated area. But then know your why, and then just be ready to acknowledge situations. And that, if I put it in a nutshell, there's so many other things I would say.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And be open to adapt. Actually feeling, you know, these are all the corporate words coming out, and which is, you know, having an agile environment where you can move with the ebbs and flows. Because I think if you become too rigid, that's when you become stuck. And I think that's because you have an overall plan and a pathway forward, but there's always branches off that will then bring you back. And I think that's what we realized. The branch doesn't mean that you're then on a whole new pathway. It's actually just it's like going the scenic route. Yes. You would have rather gone straight, but things have come up that then make you go roundabout, but remembering your why brings you back on.
Yeah, absolutely. And keeping focused on that end vision will mean that even if you do take a detour, you're still heading in that same direction. I think that's such a great analogy for any small business owner or brand builder. So thank you so much for that, girls, and thank you.
Yeah, so I've got one more thing that I would say is to find a community like the Branding Hub that, like, I've been pretty quiet in there lately because obviously with just what's going on for us, but I still read it. I still feel the connection. Anytime I do have anything to say, I've always got someone listening who can come back to me. And I think because we were part of a group to start with that in the end timing wasn't quite right and price for us wasn't quite right. But in that month of not having anyone, we realized how valuable it was. And that the money was relevant to, you know, we thought it was a dead cost, but it actually wasn't. We didn't realize how much it really gave us. So thankfully, timing of Brand Alchemy and everything for us just aligned.
Absolutely. It was like meant to be. It was honestly like,
and I believe that things, you know, those things do happen at the right time for the right reason. So thank you for sharing that. I think having a nurturing community, particularly of like-minded business owners, is incredibly important. You know, there's so many communities out there, but it really is finding your people and, you know, the people that are going to envelop you, I guess, when you need it the most and help you to keep going or, you know, support you through certain things. And I think you're right, when you have nobody, that's when you you sort of get stuck, don't you?
Yeah. And you just think like, is it us? Is this the problem only with us, or it's just again, you start to question yourself, and you definitely need people, or like a sounding board. And I think like I've not like directly posted in the branding hub, of course I keep in touch through Kate, and we've had situations where literally Kate and I be like, yeah, let's post that in the branding hub, let's post that on the community page, and we've got answers, and like, oh yes, this is why we are here.
I was in New Zealand and you were at home, and we had that we had a product come back that had been damaged. You might remember, Rach, and
I remember very well.
Yeah, and everyone came in because other people had experiences like that before. I mean, Matt offered a point of view that we had not thought of, and in the end, we actually had the best result. The best result could have happened, and it was over really a 3-week period that it was all this conversating and everything, and we didn't act too fast. And that's learning from being part of a community that shares. And that's huge for us. Huge.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that so openly. Okay, so where can we find you? Where can people come and check out your beautiful products and get to know Kate and Ria a little bit more, and also, I guess, keep in touch, because I mean, I don't know about you listeners, but I'm very excited to check out these new ranges and things.
Well, we have our website, so www.cardiandco.com.au. We also have Instagram and Facebook, also Cardi and Co. And we're going to be at most markets. Olive Tree Market up in Newcastle is one of our favourites, so we hope to be there every month through the winter, or autumn to winter.
Awesome.
We have a registered spot on the Sydney Made website, so that is all handmade items, and so we have a regular spot on their directory, and we are looking to be part of Ethical Made Easy in the new year, so just trying to channel into collective groups of ethical and sustainably made items, so the like-minded customers are seeing our stuff in and around. Those would be the main spots. We do we will get back up into the Blue Mountain Makers store, which is a gorgeous handmade shop up there. They've been open for a couple of years, and
And I think, and also we are very approachable, just like, sorry, don't mean to talk but just very approachable. Please DM us, please send us a Facebook message. Like we love to chat, and like our key thing is to just keep our social media updated once we get into these markets. And we can't wait. Like honestly, I'm itching. I can't wait to be at a market and talk to people, because it's such a wonderful experience.
You make me want to move to New South Wales, and that was going to be my next thing, is maybe some interstate markets might be on the cards. All going well, touch wood.
Definitely
put that out there.
I'll send this message to the universe.
Just throwing it out there. Never know.
When's the Fringe Fest? Because the Fringe Fest is a good one.
March.
It's earlier. I wasn't sure, but there's definitely a few, because we had Melbourne booked last year, but that didn't work out in the end.
Well,
so we're ready to go.
Going well. Yes, I love that. All right, so go and check out Ria and Kate. Say hello. As I said, they are two of the most friendly, down-to-earth gals you'll ever meet. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom and your time with me on the Brand Lover podcast. If you loved listening to this week's episode, pretty please click subscribe so that you don't miss any future podcasts. Also, if you have just a minute, please feel free to leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I'd so appreciate it, and it will help spread this message further. Thanks for being here. I'll catch you next week.